Hello, viewer. Today I'm going to cover the ISO 27001 Information Security Management System standard in few minutes, the basic concepts of information security, why it is essential for an organization, and then the basic overview of the structure of the 27001 standard and how it all works. So let's start. Let me introduce myself, and in case you know me, you can skip the next 30 seconds to get right to the topic. This is Syed Arshad Hashmi from Core System Consultant. By profession, I'm an engineer with extensive experience as consultant, trainer, and auditor for many ISO standards, including information security, business continuity, energy, quality, environment, health, and safety management standards. I've done more than 3,000 mandates of trainings and audits, and I've worked on more than 150 consulting projects with major industrial sectors across the globe. So that was a brief about myself, and now let's get started. So let's start with my presentation on ISO 27001 Information Security Management System Standard. Now, what is information? When we are asked this question, number of things comes to our mind, and let's go visual on that. So all the files and all the hard copies and all the information that we are having at our organization, that's all the information. Then all the digital and all the information that we are having on our servers and our websites, that is all the information that naturally comes to your mind. But how about a newspaper? Is that an information? You can think for a while and decide if that is an information or not an information. Now, some of you may have come up with the answer that if a news item is something related to your organization, it may be an information. And if it is not, then it may not be an information, and correctly so. So, the way we define the information is that information is anything that is related and has value to the organization. So the moment you create a information item within the newspaper for your organization, you consider that as an information. Otherwise, it has no value to your organization and you may not like to keep it. Now, with that concept, let's move on a bit further and think about the term what is information security? And I'm going to use the same example of the newspaper to resolve the myth for information security. Now, if I may ask you again, what is information security related to this newspaper? Is there anything that we like to secure, or anything that we like to hide, or anything that is of that sensitive nature? Is anything comes to your mind related to information security? But let me give you another dimension with respect to this newspaper. Let's suppose you are working in a news agency and this newspaper is your output. Then, if I may ask you, that what if the news that you are putting into the newspaper is not correct? That's incorrect. Is that an information security issue? Or if the news agency may not be able to print the newspaper for a day due to some internal issues, they may not be able to print, and the information that is supposed to be sent out to the masses and what is their business objective that was not achieved, and they that impact their business. So let's resolve one of the myths regarding the information security, and that is that information is not limited. The information security is not limited to hiding the sensitive and confidential data. It's a lot more than that. And as I just explained to you about this newspaper thing, the accuracy and correctness of the information, that is called the integrity of the information. And then, as per the business need of the organization, that information needs to be available on daily basis to the masses. And if that availability has been questioned because of some internal issues, that is impacting the availability. And those two ingredients or those two parameters are also the part of information security. So most of you must be aware of a triangle for information security, which constitutes three parameters to it. One is called the integrity, other one is called the availability, And the last one is called the confidentiality. And the preservation of all these three is termed as information security. So now let's have a look at these three parameters from a different standpoint. Now, let's suppose that one of or any of these parameters may be compromised. And here I would like to quote an example in which the airports were shut down a few weeks back because of a technical issue in one of the applications, and the airline could not perform the function. Now, was that issue related to the confidentiality of the information? No, that was very much related to the availability of the information at the point of use where it needs to be utilized. Let me give you another example. Let's suppose at the Walmart, at the checkout, if the checkout may not be working, you cannot proceed and the operational will stop. Again, if let's suppose at the Walmart checkout, even if the barcodes are not reading it correctly, or let's suppose it is giving you inaccurate information, you cannot be able to operate in that kind of a scenario. So these kind of things where the accuracy of the information or the availability of the information may get compromised, or even the confidentiality, if compromised, will give rise to a security breach, which in turn will cause the operational risk. Now, the way we define the operational risk is the loss of operational capacity or the capability of an organization due to any internal issue, maybe the process or maybe any resources, or maybe due to an external issue, which may include geopolitical conditions or probably a natural disaster or any changing in regulations as well. So, if any of these confidentiality, integrity, and availability may be compromised, that will give rise to the operational risk for an organization. So, information security ensures the reduction in the operational risks as well. So, when we try to preserve the confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and we make sure that the information is correct and it is available at the point of use, at the same time, it is confidential, means that only authorized people may be accessing that information. We are basically trying to reduce the operational risk to the business. Now, let's have a look at the organization. The every organization has some business objectives that can be any delivery of product and services over a turnover of ABC or XYZ amount. Now that business objective is heavily dependent upon the some internal and external factors or internal and external issues. The external issues are normally not in control of the organization. For example, geopolitical conditions, natural disasters, changing in the regulations, competition. So, any of those external factors that can impact the organization and can impact the achievement of its business objectives. Now, internal issues are those which are very much in control of the organization. And among those internal issues, the main thing that we need to focus is the processes, operations, and related resources, and that include the human resources as well. Now, practically, what happened is that we cannot maintain it very smooth every day, and lot of operational risks happen. So that's where the information security kicks in, and it identifies and minimizes the risk to business operations and related resources. So information security is reducing the operational risk and helping the organization to achieve the organization objective by keeping it at a minimum level. Again, I'm not saying it will be zero, but it will keep it at a minimum level. So the bottom line is that it's very good that we place our plan to the stakeholders, that how we are going to expand, what type of business plans do we have. But in today's changing environment, ever changing environment, it is also very important that how we are going to protect our existence against natural disasters, against unforeseen, and how we keep on continuing the business in these kind of ever changing scenarios. And for that, there's a need of a formal information security management system to address these operational risks so that organization can meet its business objectives. So please remember that an organization does not exist to practice information security. An organization exists to achieve certain business objectives, and in those business objectives, the information security help as a tool in achieving those business objectives. So that is the whole aim of the information security management system. Now let's talk about the standard. So this is the title of the standard, and the latest version is 2022 version. These are the contents page, and these are the contents of the standard. As you can see, there are 1 till 10 headings, which are called clauses. Now, the thing about these clauses is that out of these 1 till 10, and I have written Annex A, which is written as normative, as you can see. Normative means mandatory, compulsory. So this needs to be considered as part of the standard. And the way it goes is that out of this 1 till 10 plus Annex A, 4 till 10 plus Annex A, these are the clauses, including the Annex A, where the requirements for the information security management system are laid down. And these are also called the auditable clauses. So we can clearly categorize the standard in two parts. The part one is related to the 4 till 10 clause. And part 2 is related to Annex A, which are basically the controls or the safety and security measures that we are going to place as a result of my 4 till 10 class, which I'm going to explain in the next slide. So, as I explained to you, the objective of the information security management system is the preservation of CINA, the confidentiality, integrity, and the availability. So, this 4 till 10 clause, this basically provides the management system framework between 4 till 10 class as part 1. So the information security management system is all built in 4 till 10 class. And as you can see, I've highlighted one clause, which is the sixth clause, which is a very, very major clause: risk assessment and risk treatment. As a result of this risk treatment, when the company may come to know about the risk exposure and where the confidentiality, integrity, and availability can be compromised, then they come to know about the loopholes, and those loopholes are plugged in by the best security practices, which are defined all in Annex A. So basically, Annex A provide those best security practices which helps you in securing your organization against the risk exposure that you may find in the clause number 6. So that's the overall theme of the whole information security management system. And that was it about the basics of the information security management system, how it impacts the operational risk, and how it impacts the business objectives at an organization. So that was a brief. I'll cover the dynamics and the structure of the standard in some of my next videos. So, hope you'll stay tuned for my next videos. Thank you.